some serious changes this semester, and after years of waiting, its voice has dropped, its balls have plopped, and it's grown about 15 blocks since its last checkup. New restaurants and hangout spots are popping up all around, just like the pimples on the face of every freshman who refuses to wash their sheets. Woo! So, without further ado, the band presents a guide to the places you'll eat, the people you'll eat out, and the cook-ups and hookups that'll haunt you long after you leave Morningside Heights for good. Students have been flocking to Shake Shack, where for the price of just 3 textbooks and a modest 1-bedroom apartment in Harlem, you can enjoy a 4-ounce burger delivered in a 4-gallon paper bag. This is your Columbia fuckboy. Woo! You know they're no good for you, and they're not even that good. But sometimes you just need a nice hunk of underwhelming meat. In fact, he's the same jerk-off dude you were hooking up with at NYU, but now that he's at Columbia, you think he's changed, that maybe this time he's literate. Newsflash, just because he likes to talk about phenomenology after sex doesn't mean that his promises are any less empty than his calories. But Shake Shack's not always down to shake it up. If you're into group sex, for example, he might not be so willing to spread the love. And for that, we suggest Five Guys. Speaking of orgies, prête a ménage à trois. Finally, we found out what killed Vine. Brett is just like the basic bitch who may or may not have been your suite mate freshman year. You don't really know because she was never there. Instead, she was vacationing on the French Riviera on the weekends and hitting up Sciences Po students during the week. She's the kind of girl who pretends she's from Paris, but then just turns out to have a third cousin from Montreal. And if you make her cafe au lait with whole milk instead of skim, she'll throw a fit bigger than that of an only child being forced to share their bonbons. Speaking of only children, China! June's Kitchen opened its doors this semester. June's Kitchen opened its doors this semester to students who were still picking the shrapnel out of their Ollie's udon. Junesy is a rare breed. They actually transferred to Columbia from Yale instead of the other way around. His classmate Panda Express is always glancing over at Junesy's paper since he's the only person in their CC class who actually understands Marx. But just because Junesy isn't the class clown in their discussion section doesn't mean they're not down for an intravenous injection. Junesy After Hours emphasizes the work hard, play hard attitude of a student who has an Adderall prescription but chooses to do coke instead. Speaking of coke, the only student who wouldn't snort the devil's dandruff is Hex & Co. If you haven't heard of them, it's probably because they've spent the last year holed up in their basement playing Dungeons & Dragons. A longtime member of the Smash Club, their claim to fame is being the club's all-time low scorer at their annual Bring a Date night. Hex is that neck-bearded elf who lived next to you in Fernald your freshman year. We recommend you check in on them to make sure they're taking their weekly shower. All in all, while variety is great, at the end of the day, all we want is to crawl back to JJ's and chug her Carolina Tangy until our stomach explodes. In honor of coming home, the band now forms a JJ's Mac and Cheese Triangle and plays Carried Out My Wayward Bun.